All right, so now that you had a look at the workout, if you're watching this video, then you need a little bit more of a breakdown explanation on the terms I'm using and how to do things. So pretty straightforward. I'll give you each exercise an example and just how you can make it better or modify it a little bit for your needs. So the first is a push-up. So we have, obviously we have kneeling push-ups, we have elevated push-ups where if you put your hands on something higher, this could be a countertop, chairs, something like that, you can make it a lot easier, okay? Or you can make it a lot harder. If you put your feet up here and your hands down there, if push-ups are just so easy for you, kneeling push-up, obviously, right? Even if you're doing a kneeling push-up, still keep all your core and everything tight. You don't want wide hands. You want your hands to be about shoulder width, and if you take your fingers and turn them like this just a little bit, that's the best on your shoulder. It's gonna lock your shoulder in a safe place. If you're used to doing the other way, it's gonna feel weird for a little bit, but it is the ideal position for your skeletal structure. So when you're doing the push-up, picture you have some friend that's just gonna kick you in the stomach every time you sag and do this, okay? Everything should move in unison. Everything should move together, whether it's a kneeling or a regular push-up, okay? All the way to the floor, all the way up. The next exercise after that will be full squats, full range of motion. So none of this partial stuff, even parallels only half a squat. We're going all the way down. Not rounded like this. Make your stabilization muscles work all the way up. The wider stance is going to be easier. As you get more mobility, get your feet about a fist width apart, okay? So all the way down, all the way up. Especially with this exercise, don't rush through it. If your knees are wobbling and wiggling, you could do damage, especially if you're not used to this range of motion. If you can't go all the way down, don't force it. Go to your range of motion and just touch your limitation and go back up. Each time you touch it, and you just bump it a little bit more, you're gonna continually be able to do a little bit better. But you gotta give the tendons and ligaments times to adjust. So you can hold on to something again for assistance and do something more like this. Allow yourself to lean back and use this. Just make sure you don't pull something over on yourself. The next exercise after that, let's see, is the V-holds. Now, my V-hold is very ugly. This is not good form on these, but the goal is something difficult to work on. If something's difficult, you're going to be using a lot more energy just trying to do it, and that's what we want. We want the exercise. So ideally with the V-hold, what you're going to want to do is push your stomach out, trying to stabilize yourself. But what you need to learn to do is pull your stomach in to stabilize yourself. So when you're in the V-hold, start off like this. You're just going to lift up, and you're going to find where you can hold and keep that for the allotted amount of time. Eventually, right, you want your torso straight, your legs straight. You want to be able to go all the way up. Never going to happen for me, but you can hold here, okay? You're making stuff work and stabilize. Then after that, you go to the planche. So these are another one that I struggle with. It's a really, really good exercise, but it takes a lot of skill to get it down. What you want is your shoulder blades to be down, and then you push them forward, down and forward, using your lats to lock everything in, and your chest muscles to stabilize your shoulder girdles. Your back is, you're slightly in a hollow body, okay? My tendency, I wanna push forward. In fact, when I do these, you're probably gonna see that, because no matter how hard I try, I'm still doing that, especially when I don't have somebody to watch and correct me. You start off in a push-up position. You get your hands in a position, when your hands are straight ahead, it is really, really difficult on your wrists. The more you turn your hands, the easier it is on your wrists, but the more load you put on your bicep. So you'll actually find quite a bit of muscular fatigue in your bicep from doing these. almost like you're doing a stiff-legged deadlift, and you feel it in your hamstrings. You're gonna feel it here. So you get push-up position. I keep my hands just about sideways or even facing back for me, for my wrists, okay? While you don't have a load, get your shoulder blades where they need to be. Try to hollow your body out. Pull your gut towards your spine. Get in the push-up position. Once you're comfortable with all that, the way to increase the load is to go from being on your balls of your feet like you would with a push-up, roll yourself forward onto the top of your feet and continue to go forward. You'll have a tendency to want to do this, take the load off too, and because you're trying to figure out how to hollow body, it's an extremely difficult position, puts a tremendous amount of load on your lats, your biceps, your core. Is an awesome exercise. Well worth putting time into learning how to do and challenge yourself with. Lying leg sliders. It's the one piece of equipment you might need if you don't have socks in a slippery floor, is a towel in a slippery floor, or if you have carpet, something that's going to slide on there, a frisbee, a paper binder, something that's plastic, slippery. You can put that on the floor, put your feet on it, watch your frame here, bring yourself up into a nice straight inverted plank, and then without letting your hips sag, pull your heels towards your feet. As you get fatigued, you're going to want to do this. You're going to want to drop your hips down. You got to keep them up. If you can only do, and this is a strength exercise, so 5 reps, it's pretty intense. If you can't reach the 5, or maybe you're past 5, you're hitting 10 now, but you get to 8 and your form starts to fail, what you can do is take the load off by laying down, bring your heels to your butt, then come up, and then do a negative. Then, if you're really ambitious, each set, you can change which position you do this in, and you can scrub your floor while you're going. So the last thing's a plank. Lots of different variations on the plank, but what we're doing on this one is one limb minus. So the wider your feet are, the easier it will be. And if you're doing minus one arm, then bring the other arm in closer. Hold that plank, try not to wiggle, don't shift your hips, don't do this, stay perfectly straight. Next set, do the other side. Next set, take a foot off. And remember the whole time, try to breathe through your nose, keep your mouth shut, challenge your lungs, challenge your diaphragm, challenge yourself to control your breathing.